Gang is on the loose on Bionicle.com.
Hey guys, the Firebird is here. It's me. I'm back. I haven't uploaded in like 5 days so far, and honestly, I usually say I've been busy with school, and while I have been working on a few school projects and stuff like that, at the same time, I've just been playing a lot of Fire Emblem. It's really good. I never played a Fire Emblem game in my entire life, and now that I'm playing one, I'm like, how did I ever live without this? But anyway, so today we are talking about the Unicron cultist, Unicron's secret apprentice, sort of. Flatline. Now, in the last episode, I talked about another Transformers Universe character, that being Outsider, and you guys showed a lot of support for that, so I'm gonna continue talking about the Transformers Universe cast because, like I said previously, the Transformers Universe cast has some of the most unique and really interesting Transformers in the entire franchise, in my opinion. They have tons of untapped potential, and they're all super cool and interesting. So I decided to start a small series talking about each and every one of them, because if I try to talk about all of them in one video, I don't think it's gonna do them justice. So yeah, in case you don't know what Transformers Universe is, Transformers Universe was a game that was launched during the heyday of Transformers Prime. But sadly, the game was in beta, and for some reason a lot of the Transformers community didn't get, together and started playing it, which kind of forced Hasbro to pull the plug on the game, and then we got Transformers Battle Tactics, a game that it was so much better and everyone clearly remembers. Like, you all know Transformers Battle Tactics, right? It was super popular. But joking aside, I was one of the few people, well, I say few people, but there was quite a bit of people who got to play the game. I remember the game fondly, and I remember having a lot of fun playing it. Now, Flatline was my main in that game. I loved using Flatline, just because his weapons were really cool and his powers were even better. But yeah, much like in the Outsider video, I'm gonna talk about Flatline's story, his powers, his abilities, his weapons, and I'm gonna tell you just why I like this guy so much. So, first I'm gonna start with his bio. Flatline may not turn into a heresy, but he'll make you wish that you brought one along. A terrifying master of the elements, his favorite one to utilize is the element of surprise. When he's not busy filling Autobots full of lead with his pistols or sending them into oblivion with primal powers of the universe, he's healing his teammates up. What I like about Flatline is that he's not your typical Decepticon. Like, when it comes to Cybertronian types of warriors, they usually focus in one thing. You either have your healers, you got your flyers, you got your melee fighters or your long range fighters, your bombers, but Flatline is an anomaly. The bio describes him pretty well when they say that his favorite thing is the element of surprise. And you guys are gonna see why once we reach his powers and abilities. Also, it appears that Flame War seems to like him, since she mentions Cybertronians don't come any tougher than Flatline. And that comes from Flame War, one of the most fearsome and brutal Decepticons around, so that speaks highly of this guy. But now I'm gonna talk about his story. In the game, sadly, Transformers Universe never really got, to get its story content going. It was mostly a, multiplayer game where people picked Autobots and Decepticons and started fighting one another. There was very little story to go around, but as far as we know, Flatline was part of the crew of the Leviathan, who was pursuing the Autobot ship named the Arclight. They chased the Arclight to Earth and managed to shut it down, causing it to crash over Central City. He and the other Decepticons on board went on to engage in several battles against the surviving Autobots in a number of places around the world. Keep in mind, the story of Transformers Universe took place in between Transformers Follow Cybertron and Transformers Prime, but since the game got cancelled, technically the backstory is not canon anymore. But that still doesn't stop Hasbro from bringing him or any of the other Transformers Universe cast back. I mean, they did that for DIABLA in the Bumblebee movie, so there is hope for Flatline. Please Hasbro, bring Flatline back. What happens to him, during the conflict is unknown, but since the game was supposed to tie in with, the Prime cartoon, we can assume that he either left the planet or left the dimension entirely. You guys are gonna see why I brought that up in a little bit, but first up, let's talk about his weapons. So Flatline comes equipped with the Morgul Heavy Grenade Launcher. Flatline uses this weapon to blow up the Autobots from a safe distance. This weapon has also the intended side effect of messing with his enemy's systems, so if they want to use their abilities or anything, they can for a short amount of time. It also causes severe damage to the Autobots' shield plating, so this weapon is really effective against larger and tougher armor opponents. Next up, he has the Nex Hammer. Flatline carries his next hammer for swallowing nearby Autobots. It's basically your standard hammer which does plenty of damage against smaller and larger Autobots, but what makes this thing really special is that Flatline uses his powers to enhance this hammer. Flatline can create electricity, like charge up the hammer and use it to deal a more powerful blow against the Autobots. So he essentially pulls a Thor from Infinity War, just charges it up and swings it down, creating ripples of electricity, which is extremely cool and overpowered. But not only that, he can also use the lightning to call down thunder. Yes, this guy has the powers of controlling nature itself. He is the Tiger Hawk of the Transformers Prime universe. I'm not even making this up. He can literally call down thunder from the sky. And as you guys might have guessed, this thing is ridiculously effective against groups of Autobots. So when fighting Flatline, Autobots are recommended to spread out and try to overwhelm him from different sides. And his last weapons are the Simulus pistols. Flatline makes sure his comrades don't flatline by shooting them with his healing Simulus pistols. And yes, you heard that right. Flatline can heal all Decepticons with these pistols. He just gets close to his allies and he immediately starts shooting them, which magically regenerates his allies' shields and armor platings. And this is like going back to what I said earlier about Flatline being an anomaly. Like, he has long range coverage, he has short range coverage, he has a counter against multiple groups of opponents, and he even is part healer. This is definitely one of the weirdest setups for a Cybertronian combatant that I have ever seen. And we're not even done with the craziness. So I'm gonna talk about Flatline's powers. His first ability is the Unified Field. It basically creates a field around the enemy he hits, which damages opponents and heals allies. We don't really know exactly what the field is made out of. Supposedly it's Dark Energon, but that's still unconfirmed. His next ability is Dimension Splitter. Flatline can phase into the X dimension, during which time he becomes incorporeal and generates a field which heals himself and his nearby allies. He also spawns Unicron's freaking wings! So the way this ability works is that basically, Flatline phases into an alternate dimension and he leaves like a ghost or a shell of his former self in, the current universe. While he's in this dimension, he basically heals himself and heals any allies that are nearby him. I won't go too in depth with the X dimension because that's a whole thing and it will take me a little time to explain it, and I'll be honest, I don't really know much about it myself either, so all you need to know is that it's basically an alternate dimension. That's it. And it's somewhat related to the X dimension that gets brought out in Transformers Cybertron. Our worlds are in danger! There, I said it, I hope you guys are happy. But yeah, he does this and spawns the wings of Unicron. Like, that's crazy, scary, and incredibly badass. And his final ability is Lock Trap. This basically deploys a time explosive that damages and immobilizes foes. Let's say he's getting harassed by plenty of Autobots, all he needs to do is activate this ability, and then he can basically make some distance between him and his pursuers. And then we have his passive ability, Energy Morph. Laughing in the face of his opponents, incoming energy blast damage is absorbed for a period of time. So yeah, essentially this renders most of the Autobots' weaponry pretty useless because, he absorbs it. This guy is so ridiculously overpowered now that I think about it. His weapons are overpowered: long range coverage, short range coverage, support coverage, and that's without even factoring in the fact that he's, a pretty big Decepticon. I wouldn't say he's like incredibly big like Megatron size, but he's more of Shockwave size. By default, he already has a ridiculous amount of strength and endurance and stuff like that, but his powers basically put him in a tier of his own. He basically has Thor's powers. He can call down lightning, he can mess up with the elements and nature like Tigerhawk did in Transformers Beast Wars. He can spawn the wings of Unicron, which probably give him the ability to fly. He can phase into another dimension, which makes him, invincible for a short amount of time. He can set up traps against his opponents, so if he's ever in trouble, he can easily, delay his opponents and make some distance and then finish them off from a safe distance. Oh, and he also can spawn the horns of Unicron, but they're like really small, and this seems to enhance his abilities and allows him to create Unified Field. But yeah, This guy is so incredibly cool, incredibly badass, incredibly interesting. I love Flatline. In my opinion, if you guys were impressed by Outsider, this guy knocks Outsider out of the water because, you know, Outsider may be able to like spawn ground bridges here and there and teleport from place to place, but against Flatline, the guy is outmatched. Totally outmatched. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, he transforms into a 4-wheel drive flatbed truck. And he also has Stealth Force. Yes, this guy has Stealth Force. In Flatline Stealth Force or alternate mode, it's never called Stealth Force, but it basically is Stealth Force. He can launch electrified multi-grenades, which, you know, it's really good when chasing opponents, and again, it's ridiculously long range. And they also pack a punch. But now, before we end this video, I'm gonna talk about the thing you guys have been waiting on the most. This guy's relationship with Unicron. So, this guy is a Unicron cultist. I'm not even kidding. So, you know how Primus is like the god of the universe and Unicron is basically like Satan? Well, this guy is basically a devil worshipper. I'm guessing in context of the Transformers universe you can like say it that way. It's never made clear if his attacks, you know, radiate Dark Energon or if he even has that available. Because, you know, Transformers universe sadly got cancelled. We never got any confirmation as to more info about this guy. But we do know that his loyalty is towards Unicron because one of Flatline's quotes is "for Unicron." This indicates that he's probably not really loyal to Megatron or the Decepticon cause. It looks like he worships and wants to follow Unicron. The thing about Flatline is that we don't really know much about his motivations and stuff. We do know that he worships Unicron and he constantly talks about the cosmos and the universe and conquering the cosmos, bending the laws of space and time, which, buddy, that's something you already do. Your very existence defies the laws of the universe. It defies the laws of the franchise. It can be assumed that he's like in search for Unicron and trying to master, you know, the powers of the cosmos, which sort of does indicate that he does have Dark Energon. And Dark Energon is actually a thing that appears in Transformers universe, so who's not to say that Flatline got a hold of some of that and he uses it for his weaponry and, you know, to upgrade and make himself more powerful. But that's just part theory. He's looking for Unicron, but as of Transformers Prime, we know that Unicron is the Earth. So ironically, the guy doesn't know that he already found Unicron, which is kind of funny when you think about it. But yeah, guys, that's it for Flatline. He's looking for Unicron, he serves him, he says that he has a mission, so my guess is that much like Windblade in Transformers Robots in Disguise, who was given a mission by Primus, maybe Unicron gave Flatline a specific mission. Maybe he knows that Unicron is the Earth. Like, this guy's just so interesting, and a lot of the stuff he can pull off makes me believe that he's like the herald of Unicron, just like, you know, Windblade is the herald of Primus. That's also one of the reasons why in the Transformers Versus series, I want to have a fight between Flatline and Windblade, because the two are the heralds of the respected gods, and I think that's incredibly cool. Hasbro, please, if you're watching this, bring this guy back. You have such a cool concept here, and I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm fanboying a bit too much, but the guy can literally bend the universe to his will. Like, you don't get any more overpowered than that. Flatline, it's been years since your game got cancelled, but damn, are you still one of the coolest Decepticons around. But anyways guys, that's it for this video. Shoutouts goes to our patrons, Moirice Prime, iPulse Fate, Mario Gordon, Predaking Hunter Plays, Mr. Baby Duke, and the absolute madman himself, Jordan the Great, who donated $100. Thanks for your support, guys. Make sure to go check out their channels, links in the description down below, and if you guys want to shout out yourself, all you have to do is donate to my Patreon. By donating to my Patreon, you get quite a few rewards. You can get a shout out to your channel, you can request your own videos, you can collab with me in some of my videos if you choose to. You get a special role on my Discord server. You can also get early access to my videos and stuff like that. There's plenty of rewards to choose from and it's entirely optional. It sounds like a pretty good deal, right? But keep in mind, this is entirely optional since freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Thank you guys for donating, it's much appreciated. So yeah, thanks a lot guys. Well, that's it for this video guys. Hopefully you all enjoy. I'm really happy that I finally got to talk about one of my favorite Decepticons of all time. It really hurts me that this guy sadly hasn't gotten that much attention since, you know, his game got shut down. But I'm still holding up to hope that Hasbro's probably gonna bring him back in some way, shape or form someday, much like they did with DIABLA. So for my next video, I was thinking of either talking about Swagger, basically the Autobot Ninja, or talking about DIABLA, one of the Decepticon's most lethal operatives, which basically uses cosmic rust as a weapon and is even immune to it. Yes, I'm not making it up, the game is crazy, but damn, that's why I love it so much. Anyways guys, let me know your thoughts on Flatline. Do you like him? Do you not like him? Do you wish him to come back? Do you think he's overpowered? Do you not think he's too overpowered? And let me know if there's any other Transformers Universe characters you guys would like me to talk about. I'll continue talking about them for, as long as the series keeps getting support, or until we get new info about the new Transformers game, or even the Transformers Netflix show. Stay tuned for that. I'll report on it as soon as it comes out, but for now, we gotta keep ourselves entertained by looking at the past. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay safe guys.